Well, hello there, everyone. I'm not drawing cars yet. I may in a moment. I'm doing okay. I spoke with someone earlier today, and he really enjoys drawing cars. And I was thinking about how I admire people that draw cars a lot. They have this ability to see things in 3 dimensions, and they're so quick in how they draw them. And I just find it fascinating to watch. It's like watching a cartoonist draw or a violinist, hit all the right notes in a fast, whatever the word is in music, I don't even know. So I thought I would sort of try to pretend I know what I'm doing, just to show you sort of what I like about it. So let me get some paper that I can draw on and see if I can try to imitate what I mean. I've had, okay, well, I understand. People that draw cars, unfortunately I'm going to be drawing this sort of upside down, but I've seen people that know how to do this really well, and they immediately see the car in 3 dimensions. And why isn't this working? There we go. They immediately see the car in 3 dimensions, and it's just, I don't know why I'm fascinated by it, but I'm going to pretend I'm drawing some sort of Volkswagen Bug that's elongated, and but they know how to sort of make the cars look like they're moving. And I just really think that sort of ability is quite amazing. I spoke earlier this week with someone who designs cars, and he really loves, I don't know if he loves doing it. I hope he likes what he does for a living. And I don't know, I just find it interesting. I wish I liked cars more than I do. I mean, I don't really like them at all, if you really want to know. But I do like sometimes drawing them. And what I do, rather than draw the entire car, I take a little tiny piece of it. And when I draw a piece of the car, I'm usually drawing the reflections that I see in the metal. So, the car tail light might be here, and the back window might be here. The back window, rear window, and the back passenger window might be here, and the tire might be here. And so that might be what I'm drawing. Of course, you can't see what I'm doing. I don't know what an Indian car looks like. But what I love drawing about it is, you know, you've got this piece of chrome here, and you've got some chrome trim here, and then you have the skyline of Boston, Massachusetts along the side of this. And you have other cars, and the road is here, and it's all warped and transformed. In a really fun way. So again, you know, I just pick a part of the car. Or the ute. What does a ute look like? Do I need to see what a ute looks like? Isn't a ute a isn't, let's see, what kind of a car did you say? A Tata? Tata car from India. Tata Motors images. Is this a Tata? Or is that something else? You know, they're really, I don't know what it is. Do the cars look like tennis shoes these days, or do tennis shoes look like cars? But for me, you know, if this was something I had to draw, this image right here, is this a Tata car? Tata Motor offering different cars, Tata Motors. Yeah, someone says yes. Well, I'll pretend. Okay, why can't I get it on my screen? Okay, I'll move this down. I'll get my if my job was to draw a Tata car, Tata Safari, T-A-T-A-S-A-F-A-R-I. It's bringing me to not rah-rah. It's a luxury vehicle images. You know, see, all of these cars look alike to me. I want a car that looks like a Duesenberg. That's my kind of car. I mean, this looks like a Jeep and a station wagon put together. Okay, I'll draw that. A Hyundai i20. Hyundai i20. Hyundai i20. Go. Is this what one looks like? Now, if I saw this and I wanted to draw it in the Per Gustafson way, where I would pick a element of it that would make me smile, I'm drawing it in this so we can compare. I would I would immediately latch onto the geometric angles in the front. The headlight, the grille, the logo, and maybe the wheel. So it becomes this geometric thing. You don't, yes, it's a car. You might know it's a car if you have one of these cars, but it also looks like it could be a quartz or something, that a detail of a quartz. And let's try to turn this into something fun. I don't quite know what kind of grill it has, but we'll make it look like that. Okay, now, so that's one drawing. Now this is how I draw cars. I pick an area. I'm sorry, I'm drawing this one. Gosh, I can draw another one in a minute. So then what I do is I would come in here with my ink, and then I would turn it into sort of an ink wash. And for those people that love cars, you'll say, that's not a picture of a car. I don't even know what that is, but that's okay. I'm not drawing it for them. So this is what my picture might look like. But the people that I admire that know how to draw cars would take this same photo and they'd sort of exaggerate the perspective a little bit and maybe make it look like it's going at just slightly over the speed limit. We don't want to make it look like they're actually breaking the law. You know, the wheels here might be slightly curved in rather than vertical, just to make it look like it's alive. And you know, that can be fun too. When I take Ubers and Lyfts, I get a notification saying your driver is Brad, and he's driving a white Hyundai XYZ, and I wouldn't know a Hyundai XYZ or from a K-Cup soap, but luckily they say that it's a certain color, and they tell me the license plate. But it's so the people that can draw this, you know, draw a car exactly Rob Morrison wanted to have, when I ran the Boston Pen Show, he wanted to have a black tie dinner. When we had to have when we had dinners as part of the thing before the auction, and he wanted everyone to wear black tie. And I said, Rob, that is not going to happen. even if you say in advance, you know, you're going to bring your tailcoat or your whatever. I don't know what sort of appropriate dress code or rather appropriate music. When I was a juror, once I got a juror's handbook, and it said, jurors will wear to the court formal clothing. Well, I didn't have a morning jacket in stock, and you know, do I need to wear gray spats on my shoes and a ascot? So formal was not. Okay, Cash, you sent me a picture. Where is it? Okay, well, I'll try to draw that one, Cash. So this one is an angle from above looking down, and it's at night. So it has a sort of sexy look to it. And again, drawing it the way, when I think of people that draw cars, it's not so much they're drawing the headlight, they're drawing the line from the headlight to the tail light. They do that. And then they add that for the handle. And then they put the tail light here. But it's this line that they're interested in. And then they don't draw the wheel so much as they draw. Yes, you're drawing a wheel. Sorry. There's no doubt about it. You're drawing a wheel, but you're drawing an ellipse. You're drawing a non-circular thing, and you're probably slightly exaggerating it. It's grill, it's a little thing. And then this, they might just make this all one line rather than 1, 2, 3. They might do this just to make it look more streamlined. Then they might just do that, just to pull that in just a little tiny bit. I don't know whether I sent a message to the person that was drawing these cars to see if he wanted to join me and tell me how it's really done. But you know, they're fun to draw. I could get into it, I guess. I could become a car drawer after a fashion. But I think I draw other things better than I draw cars. In the olden days, let's see if I can find this book quickly, I will bring it out and show you. It was a book about advertising, and you know, cars were among the first thing that was advertised sort of sexily. You know, it wasn't just you know, here's the new Ford. It was, you know, showing the romance of a new Ford. And that's, God damn it, that's a different thing altogether. you know, showing the romance of a new Ford. So speaking of which, I want to show you something here. I can find it. Oh, where is it on my Facebook? It's easier maybe to find it in my photos. Used to be easier finding your photos on your Facebook. Now you have to look in albums. They used to have a little thing that said photos. There we go.
It seems so much longer than last year. It is. Nearly 4 inches longer in some models. Oh. Longer than last year. It is. Nearly 4 inches longer in some models. Oh.
Can I get a model that's 4 inches longer? Is that possible? But anyway, car advertisers back in the olden days, in the 20s, they drew people smaller than they really were. You know, a normal person standing next to a car would be at least as tall as the car. But when you see them in a car and you see them standing next to a car, the car is just much bigger. So it looks like it's actually like being in a small room. But some of them are, as we just heard, bigger. 4 inches in some models. Oh. Again, for me, cars are yes, the previous model. It's very funny, that thing, and how you could not see it as sexual is beyond me, but you know, maybe it was meant not to be seen that way. That's from a clip. I got that from a really interesting show called The Century of the Self. And it's about Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, who sort of invented consumer relations and how to market things to the consumer to make the entire country a consumer-driven force. Hey, Piot. Piot is a neighbor of mine. Are you willing to come on here and draw with me or talk? Piot is a very talented artist who does anything from drawing to watercolor to sculpture to environmental stuff, things that are outside, and to conceptual art, I guess. So, Piot, join us. All you do is click on the thing and it'll allow you in. Copy to clipboard, copy. Oh. You don't have to put clothes on. I have a lot of people that don't have pants on, but you paint now. I saw your painting. May I show them the painting you did? One of my, I'm gonna describe one of your pieces to the audience. It's a video piece that he did that shows him being very against a white background. You have to imagine that. Shows him very serious and very thoughtful, and there's not a smile anywhere near him, and he's standing there and he's moving, and he takes his glasses off and he blows into them, and there's soap bubbles, soap film on the glasses, and the bubbles come out, and it cracks me up when I see that. Piotr also did some nice work with pencils. Let's see if I can find those. Piotr. Hold on, Piotr. You are doing a lot of paintings. You're painting both with actual wet matter and stuff on your iPad. Both is amazing. Oh, a kitty. Out of focus, kitty. This is a beautiful, the way you capture light. This is on the iPad using his finger. Oh, here's your business card. Here's his finger, and that is a business card, evidently. Where are your pencils? He's written a couple of books, illustrated and written a couple of books. It's their cat. Piotr and Lisa have a cat, and they got Tina to keep the other cat company, and the cat, they did not get along well. So I got their sloppy seconds with their cat. So Tina came from Piotr and Lisa. So thank you. The cat is lovely. It's she knows how beautiful she is, and she doesn't let you forget it. But I'm going to step on her one day. She blends into the gloom of my house, and she sits right in the middle of the road and sleeps. One day I'm going to end up, okay, are you? Piotr, Are you sending it to me or? Tina, I have, as you know, a 3/4 roommate named Matt, and Matt is a dog person, and all 3 of my cats he treats like they're a dog, and he plays catch with them, and he is a little rambunctious. Okay, here is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 10 or 12 pencils that have been turned into a blue tarantula. Made out of pencils. And he did these series a while ago. They're little pencil drawings that he's made to look like they're enamel gravestone markers that they have in Eastern Europe. Which I think in Eastern Europe they're photographs, I think, sepia tone photographs that are somehow put on ceramic or enameled plates and then cemented into the this one's called Clickbait. But Piot has developed this really, really, hello Joshua, has from Canada. This really effective and easy to use perspective tool, let's call it, with a string and a paper clip and a rubber band or something and a couple of tacks. And with 1-point perspective, you immediately have all of the lines. You don't need rulers. It really helps visualize how the hallway goes off into infinity. Yes, I will do that. But Piot's work is interesting in that I shouldn't be surprised by anything that he would do because he seems to move from one media to the next, realistic to abstract to non-representational. And as he once told me with his delightful Polish accent, which I cannot do, he said, "I will not be pigeonholed." Here he is as a waiter at a graveyard. I don't think he likes the word Peter, the name Peter. You never said what? You said that. You said that in the gallery. You said that to me. It was a show called What's So Funny, and a show about humor in art or wit or play in a fun way. And he had two pieces in the show, and one was this very realistic painting of a deer head, beautiful, like you'd see at the on the wall of a restaurant in northern Maine or something. Beautifully rendered deer head and antlers. And on the tip of each of the antlers was stuck a tennis ball, a bright lime green fluorescent tennis ball. And you looked at the thing, and of course you smiled. You'd say, "Oh my God, that's so funny. That's so funny," you'd say. And then you turn your head to the left as you walk further to the next painting, and behind you, way in the distance on the wall, is an actual deer head with these things with actual tennis balls on it. And I said, "Well, then you laugh all the more." And I said to Piotr at the opening, I said, "And then people think you're some sort of, funny guy, but then they realize that you're actually a realist." And he said, "I will not be pigeonholed." Does it ring a bell yet, mister? Don't try to fool me. It's not going to work. Oh, this is another funny one. This is, I don't know, this might be 10 years old. It's a moving piece of art that looks like this. It's about 4 feet wide. Yes, what was sad about the deer thing? Is Miss Mouse here today? He did a book. Is it an entire book about mice? When I saw this, with the red sun, I thought of Wojciech, the opera, except it was the moon that he saw was blood red. Yeah, I mean, it is sad that the tennis and your sunsets are in your clouds. I do clouds as well on my iPad, Piotr, and oh, and here you are jumping over things. I won't show that because you're partially clad. So anyway, Piotr, you said about doing a demonstration with your okay, schedule it. You need to rebuild your rigs. You know, my friend Russell Facemeyer, who is on here quite often, he was trying to teach his, hello Tasha, he was trying to teach his students in grade school how to do perspective, which was asking a lot, I thought. And he was talking about vanishing points and horizon lines and parallel lines and all this stuff. And I came up with an idea myself that I thought was a better system than talking about the vanishing point and the horizon line, because sometimes you have no idea where that is. You can figure out where it is, but I think it's that it's easier to, especially for younger people, to try to, for them to understand where their eye level is from here to eternity. And anything that's shorter than they are, their eyeballs are, they're looking down toward. And the things that are above their eyeballs are above this line. And so I came up with this little idea where I drew I'll draw it for you people to see. So here's our horizon line and our mountains and our sun and the road coming this way. And I said, if, you know, the horizon line is where my eyeballs are. So if I were standing here, this is where my head would be. And this is what I would see. If I was a chicken crossing the road, I would, my eye level would be much lower. It's easier for me to show this as I was drawing sort of a side view of this. And then I came up with the idea of, if the chicken had his head locked off and his body was running around, but his eyeball was still on the ground, this is what he would see. And I think that it was, I think that was a really nice way to talk about it. When I was in grad school teaching perspective, one of my roommates was a math professor, math TA, teacher's assistant TA, and he would teach his math students complicated things by putting them to music. So calculus was put to the Beatles song Yesterday, and I don't know calculus or the lyrics to Yesterday, but calculus, la 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 la, mean to us, oh, I believe in calculus. And then he would go on with some sort of whatever calculus is about. And he did one for vectors to the tune of the Beverly Hillbillies. And I said, I'd love you to do one for me for perspective. And I said, but I don't know any modern music. You have to use something classical. And he came back the next day or 2 days later, and he gave me the lyrics, and he said it goes to Beethoven's Ninth. So are you ready for this? And this, again, you have to know that I'm an art teacher, an art TA, and he's a mathematician. And the rest is obvious. Parallel lines never meet, or so the mathematicians say. But in matters of perspective, listen to your art TA. Lines converging toward the distance meet at the point of vanishing. For in painting more dimensions, Euclid we are banishing. Well, that was handy. The binoculars with the rangefinder thing. I learned perspective in grade school, and my teacher in second grade was drawing something on the blackboard, and she was drawing the front of a store. And I could not understand. She drew this square that was tilted 45 degrees, so it was a rhombus on the blackboard. Perfectly square, and she drew a door and a window, and I thought, are we looking down at a floor plan? We're all copying it and trying, and I just didn't know what she was doing, and suddenly it just came off the blackboard and hit me right between the eyes. She was drawing in 2-point perspective, and the corner of the building was the thing that was in the middle of the drawing. And I've loved perspective ever since, and love playing with perspective and exaggerating perspective, and I think it's quite fun. Piot's method is just really brilliant, though, because if I had to draw something in 1-point perspective and didn't want to mark up my piece of paper with 5 million lines and angles and vertical lines and diagonal angles, it allows me to sort of see immediately what I'm looking at. So good for you, Piot. And other people have copied him and pretend it's their idea, but his videos predated theirs. Damn them. I don't know if Piot is still here, but Piot has also done some YouTube instructional videos about watercolor, which I should pay attention to because I'm trying to learn watercolor, and I don't think I have the patience to let something dry first. Let the first wash dry. No, I don't do that. I'm getting bored right now. So I need to finish. So of course everything turns to mud. But I have been watching a number of people doing watercolor, and I'm learning a number of things from them. I just haven't put them into practice yet. The art of letting go. I have been having fun, Piotr, with doing like I was doing here, drawing with pen and ink, and then just running the water brush on top of it to dissolve the ink. But I'm not dealing with color, and I'm not dealing with color mainly. Yes. Piotr, I'll send you some Instagram profiles of people that are here that I draw with, because one of the things I'm trying to do at Brick Bottom with the BAA board is to do some live, they don't have to be live, though it's kind of fun when they are, broadcasts. They don't have to be live though, just saying, broadcasts on StreamYard here where both of us or three of us or four of us could draw and talk about drawing at the same time, or do other things. We can either all be drawing the same thing or the same kind of thing, or using the same medium, but just talking about what we like and don't like about it, and try to keep the video at a 25 or so minute length so we don't bore people to death. And I find this works better for me than Zoom does. First of all, it's pretty easy for me to run, and I have control over it. I guess the person that's running a Zoom also has control, but I'll invite enough people that I think will get along well with each other or contrast nicely, and then we'll have a little discussion. So I'm going to send you images of their well, oddly enough, we have sold pieces during COVID when it's closed. Our gallery is not easy to get to. You have to want to come here. And I think that it's the way we need to do it in the future, I guess, because the brick and mortar places are not working anymore so much. So, and the gallery gets 30%, which is a lot less than what you get at a real thing. Real gallery takes half at least. So let me find you here, Piotr, and I will send you some people. There's one guy that a lot of the people, Piotr, that I know on this chat are people that collect or use fountain pens for drawing or journal keeping or calligraphy. And some of them also are, we'll call them just pen nerds because they know way too much about pens. But they also, all of them really love using them. So the people that I'll be sending you, you'll see the kind of drawings they do. And I think there might be one person that you really would think would be fun to draw with the three of us. I think that would be good fun. So let me just do that right now, if I can figure out how to get to what I need to get to. And let me find. Russell Facemeyer, I'm sending you, there's a drawing he did of a cat that looks very much like the drawing you did of a cat. But you can look at his thing and you'll see that there's just so much different kinds of stuff he does, and he makes puppets and paintings and anyway, all sorts of good stuff. So so that's Russell. Another guy that I've drawn with is named Cedar, and some of the way he draws figures reminds me a little bit of your line drawing that you do, and some of it's calligraphic. Again, he uses fountain pens. I've only talked with him a couple of times live. He's from California and he works during the day, so it's not easy to connect with him. See, who else do I? Talk with that is a draftsman. There's a number of them that I want to talk to and get on here, but they haven't done it yet. But I'll keep sending you some when I come across them. Piotr, I don't know if I sent it to you, but Patsy and Russell and I drew together on YouTube. We copied a couple of Michelangelo figures from the Sistine Chapel, and it was interesting to see how different we all three drew. And Patsy drew with lots of curves. I drew with lots of angles. And Russell and Patsy were talking about teaching and being a student, long ago when Patsy was a student. Russell just got out of grad school a couple of years ago, so he's quite young. And Patsy's older than I am, so of a different generation, certainly. And she was talking about how they were getting people ready to not be a fine artist, but to learn a trade, a skill that you'd use in illustration or graphic design. It was very much geared toward that end. So Piotr, when you broadcast or when you make your videos, you probably use a real camera, right? This video broadcasting live on YouTube works really well with a phone or an iPad. And I can show you sort of how I make it work. The thing is, you want to have your eye be above the cell phone, because you want to see what I'm drawing, and you want to make sure that you're still in the picture. So you have something that looks kind of like this lamp, except this is your phone, and you have it set up so it's above your drawing, but below your eyeballs, so you can see what you're doing. You can see what I'm doing, and you can make sure your hand is always in the middle. And I use, and I have some that you can borrow if you want, little selfie stick holders that are wired onto or connected to gooseneck lamps. And it really works well because there's no tripod in your way. I've also made one using 2 wire hangers, and that works really well. It looks like a 4-legged spider, and you can easily bend the legs to be tilted more this way or that. And then I just tape 3 of the legs down onto the table, and then I take the 4th leg and lift it up like it's going to take a pee, like a dog taking a pee, and lift it up and get it out of the way. That's the one that's closest to my right hand. And there's no shadows cast really to bother you from the little skinny legs. And but it's strong enough to hold the camera in place. So that's worked for me. But again, I've got there's another thing I have right here that would probably work. It's right here. Here's the clamp for the phone, and here's the clamp for the table. And then you just move this around. The problem with these kinds of things that you buy, though, is there's usually some weak link to it. It's either the clamp isn't strong enough and breaks after you try it 3 times, or the actual wire isn't strong enough to keep it in place. So it droops a little bit. And you don't want that. So, but I'm sure you could figure out something as well. You could take some of your spiders and create a tower. Oh, good. Streaming, I enjoy it. And when you get a good group of people that are your regular audience, they are as excited about seeing each other as they are about seeing me, and I don't have to entertain. You guys entertain each other, so that's handy. But streaming is good if you're aiming down at your desktop. Your biggest issue is going to be lighting, I guess. You want to have the lighting not cast too many shadows on what you're doing. And then focus. Things are always going in and out of focus if your hand is in the way. So it would be really nice if there was a way to lock the focus to be on the drawing or on the calligraphy or on the whatever it is you're doing. And that's a lot of trial and error, I think. Yeah, I think, if this one that I just showed you, if I had two of them together and I lashed the two bendy things, it would be perfectly fine. It's just the one bendy thing isn't enough. This might be fine. Let's see. If I hold the base or put something heavy on the base, this would work. This thing, except it's a little too close, maybe. So, okay, well, I very much look forward to doing something with you soon, Piotr. Not just for me and for what we do, but eventually doing it on the Brick Bottom YouTube page. Right now, it'll exist here on mine, but the Brick Bottom page, I think, is where these things might end up, or at least links from their page to tutorials that you might have on your own channel. Well, say hi to Lisa. And how many cats do you have now? You just have the one? One chill little cat. I just sent you another thing from Sally. Her name is Slithen. And she is an amazing artist. Never taken a class in her life, but just has this beautiful touch with her artwork and her photography. And she's a philosophy doctorate student in California. And she just does these really beautiful rendered illustrations of birds and creepy snowman. So anyway, you'll look at them yourself. You've got the link I just sent you. She loves drawing bits of frames and mirrors, ornate Baroque la-di-das as well. So she and I have a lot. She draws clowns, which we all know are creepy. Well, I need to talk to Deborah Olin, and so I am going to sign off here for the moment. I'm about to sneeze, so I will catch you all later. Hopefully I'll sign off before I sneeze. Be good, everyone.